Welcome. It's a special honor for me today to interview the founder of Blackbird Writers, Tracey Phillips. Tracey's book, Best Kept Secrets, kept me turning pages well into the night. Although it's a debut novel, Best Kept Secrets has strong characters, gripping plots, and superb writing. So welcome, Tracey.
Thanks, Saralyn. It's an honor to have you interview me.
Thank you. Tell us something about Best Kept Secrets and the characters who are living on the edge in one way or another.
Yeah, so Best Kept Secrets is mostly Morgan Jewell's tale. She's a detective of the Indianapolis Metro PD, and her reasons for getting there was because her life sort of got sidetracked. Just as she was about to enter college with her best friend, they were going to be roommates in a dorm together, her best friend, Faye, was murdered. And although Morgan couldn't remember any of the details around the event or around the days up to the event, it changed her life forever. And she was drawn to study criminology and to become a detective. And she ends up at the Indianapolis Metro PD, where at the opening of the book, there's a crime that looks strangely familiar to her. So she requests access to this murder in Danville, Indiana. And the story goes from there.
And it's a gripping story, just from the first word. Three of the main characters in this book have fairly unusual names. They're Morgan, Karen, and Eckerd. Mm-hmm. And I wondered how you came up with those names.
Well, I've always liked the name Morgan, especially for a girl. Karen doesn't seem that unusual to me because I know 3 women named Karen, and Eckerd. I probably found that, so I use a website called the Fantasy Name Generator, and so you can get real names from different ethnic backgrounds. And if you don't like what shows up, just keep clicking and it'll bring up. Anyway, that's a great source for writers.
I guess for people who are naming their babies too.
Well, I guess it could be, yeah, or gamers. I think there's, yeah. So should I tell you a little bit about Karen, the other character?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I really enjoyed writing Karen. She is very sociopathic, but I like to get into psychology, and studying psychology is just sort of a side hobby of mine. And then, you know, as a writer, I get to sort of mix and match. She's a little bit sociopathic, and what are her behaviors, and why does that happen? Is it because of her upbringing, and what happened while she was growing up? So she was a really fascinating character for me to write. And Morgan too, because of her perpetration-induced trauma, which is what she's diagnosed with. This is the reason why she can't remember the events around Faye's death. And perpetration-induced trauma is psychological damage. It's our brain's way of coping with a traumatic event, like witnessing a death, or like participating in killing someone. And so your brain can just shut down, literally, like decide that it doesn't want to see those memories at all. So that's what Morgan's dealing with. So I liked playing these 2 women's psychological issues off each other. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun to read them also, because they they have layers of complexity. And so as the reader turns the page, you just peel off another layer of each one of the characters. It was really fun to get to know them. And I've been missing them since I finished reading the book. In addition to being a writer, you're a musician. Mm-hmm. And I wondered how your appreciation for the arts, especially music, contributed to your ability to craft a well-written book.
You know, I like to think of it like the voices in the story, or sort of like voicing in music in an orchestra or in a band, when you have, you know, the different instruments that are layering through the song, telling the story. Sometimes it's the voice of the flute, sometimes it's the voice of the piano, you know. And as a pianist, I feel lucky because I get to play with multiple voices all the time. And as a child, I used to listen to my teacher always had like listening sessions for us, and she would put on symphonies or piano concertos, and you know, as a child, you're not really wanting to sit down and listen, but she said, sit down, quiet, listen. And so we did, you know, and it taught me appreciation. And, you know, and during those times I would, you know, just imagine what was going on. What is that flute really saying? What is happening with all of this low rumbling drums or whatever? So, you know, it just kind of like made my imagination fly.
I love those metaphors. What is one thing that surprised you as you were writing this story?
Probably the ending. And so I can't really talk about it.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. So yeah, you know, I'm kind of a pantser. So, and especially with this book, and if you don't know what a pantser is, it's somebody who doesn't, you know, plot out the story. I didn't plan this story. I got into my characters' heads and I wrote what they were doing and what would they be doing next. And, you know, I would wake up in the morning and, oh, well, she has to investigate this part of the crime, so she should talk to this person or that person. And so I never really knew, I didn't really think about how it was going to end.
Mm-hmm. I love that kind of spontaneous writing. It's almost like you surprise yourself as you write.
And if you don't, you won't surprise the reader either. So.
Right. And if you're not having fun, the reader's not going to have fun either when they read the book.
Right.
So what is one thing that you've enjoyed most about being a published author?
I feel like I found my tribe. You know, as a pianist, I never really felt like I fit in with other piano teachers and that group of people. I sort of felt like an odd duck there. And, you know, and I didn't decide to be a writer. It just sort of, it happened to me. Like with most writers, I think it's like all of a sudden there's a story that you have to tell. And so, you know, I found myself fantasizing about going on a trip alone with my laptop. And, you know, just to get away and have the time to write. So, you know, the best part about being an author, I think, is that I feel like I'm connecting now with people who I can relate to.
Did you actually go away with your laptop alone to write?
I didn't have a chance to, but I did like carve out time to, you know, to start writing, and then it just became a habit, and I found that I enjoyed it so much. I, you know, finished a book and then I wrote another, and then, you know.
I'm happy to be part of that tribe. What's one thing that you haven't enjoyed as much about being an author?
Oh, well, despite this whole last year, you know, it's a really tricky industry, and you know, you learn a lot as you go, and my phone's ringing. And you learn that what people say, everybody has a different point of view. Everybody has a different, you know, take on, you know, everybody has a different process too. Mm-hmm. So people who are traditionally published might also be self-published, you know, and so there is no like direct path to getting your book on the shelves.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to figure it out sometimes.
It is. It's very difficult. And so I think that's why it's great to talk to other authors, because everybody's, you know, path is completely different.
Mm-hmm. And the readers' paths are different too.
It's true. That's true.
Tell us what you're working on now.
I'm working on a little romantic suspense, and I will be publishing under a pseudonym. That was something I didn't expect to do. But it's a story that I've had in my spinning in my wheels there for a really long time, and I've had to get this out. So I'm looking forward to publishing that under a pseudonym, and so you can find me at carissaKnight.com.
I'll be looking for it, and I know your readers will be too. Thank you so much for meeting with us today, Tracey.
Thanks, Saralyn.
It's been fun talking to you.
It's been really great. Thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, and join us at blackbirdwriters.com, and you can find my tribe there with Saralyn and many other mystery authors and cozy mystery authors and thriller authors. So blackbirdwriters.com is the place to find us for more conversation. Join us there.